Hey, what's up, Arrowheads, and welcome to the Arrow Recap Show here on Collider Video. My name is Campea, and I'm so happy you guys are able to join us. And also joining me are three very handsome gentlemen, starting with Josh Macuga.
Feel a little bit of that buzz balls. I'm Josh Macuga. I feel like I made a journey to Nanda Parbat tonight. Back and forth.
Nice. And also joining me is Michael Medina.
Hey guys, thanks for having me. Not even a minute in and you already dropped buzzballs. I like it.
And to my very far left, Mr. Jason Inman.
I felt that this last week I went through a Lazarus Pit because I'm finally over the New York Comic Con crud.
Yes.
Yay.
Yes.
And thank you guys so much for joining us. We are here to break down Season 4, Episode 3, appropriately titled Restoration. We will talk about our positives, negatives, take your Twitter questions, as well as give our predictions for next week's episode. So thank you again for joining us. And let's start with our overall impressions of the episode. I have to say, for me, I think Restoration was the appropriate title for this episode. There was a lot going on in terms of, Diggle and Oliver kind of reuniting and restoring their relationship. We have the restoration of what we thought was a very dead Sara Lance.
Very
So yeah, I was pretty happy with the episode. Josh, what about you?
No, I really enjoyed this episode. I thought, the opening action sequence was great. I loved that Felicity got into the action sequence, albeit in a MacGruber kind of style. I thought that was pretty great. And I really... And I know Jason is going to touch on this too, but I really am so glad that Diggle's over being so butthurt with the Oliver thing. I really am.
Jason, what about you?
I actually think this was the weakest of the season so far. I think this was a step down because last week it seemed like such a season 1 episode. We were like, yeah, it's going to turn around. And this episode just seemed like we're spinning wheels till Legends of Tomorrow happens.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. Michael?
I thought this was a solid episode. I agree with you, but I think the performances were strong in this episode. It did seem a little slower building up towards Legends, but strong performances. Neil McDonough, damn, he's so good.
Oh, yeah.
He's so good.
Let's talk about that then, because Damien Darhk, honestly scared me in this episode, right? Because
second episode in a row that we've got this respect my suit or respect me moment.
Yeah. He's really building that reputation. Yeah,
call me Mr. Darhk.
Do it in the Lance voice.
Call me Mr. Darhk. Lance not in this episode.
No,
good point. Good point. Well, but we have you, so with your accent, that's
all
fine.
We really need.
But yeah, Damien Darhk continues to be scary to me. I think he continues to be badass. He's definitely one of my positives. I love that scene where he brought in Gambit 2.0. What is his name? Double down. And had him kind of prove his worth to everybody, and then he ended up kind of stabbing Fiad.
That was crazy. I love that because, again, it's just demanding, you will respect my authority. You know what I mean? We just toss that right at her throat. I mean, that was just this is what I want to see. He's such a good actor. I want to see someone that just scares the shit out of me.
But I thought the same thing, and I said it out loud when we were watching, that it's he killed this girl. Now Diggle is never going to know. He's have to find another link to the killing of his brother. I mean, I guess that kind of moves the plot along a little bit. But at the same time, it's a lot of this episode, I thought when we started it, that it was going to be Diggle chasing down Fayed. And she got killed so early by Double Down that we missed out on that.
Let's be honest here, though. Do we honestly believe that it's not Damien Darhk that killed his brother? Because, come on. The setup's so obvious.
Yeah.
Diggle's about to go postal, probably by the end of the season. But I think she looked really genuinely creepy. I think maybe even creepier than Sara with the card kind of stuck in her head, So
this was
that was
a
a
really
good scene.
violent episode.
It was.
We
Very
saw a lot
season
of we saw 2 throat slices
and 4 overall murders.
Yeah.
Because when Thea bloodlusts, as Merlyn says it, she stabs some in the bedchamber. Don't wake up, Thea. She's got some night terrors.
But on a non-murder streak, I think we finally learned that Diggle's bullets must be rubber because he shot a net out of his gun. And he trapped Double Down. So those aren't real bullets, people.
I think it's whatever he thinks in his head wants to come out of the gun barrel. It's going to come out of the gun barrel.
It's like the sonic screwdriver of guns.
Yes.
It would be kind of cool if they were this is Diggle's gun. It has different settings. a video game gun, and then we wouldn't have to keep talking about the fact that he's not killing people with
it's
these
kind of
guns.
like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. where they have, what are they called, like icers or whatnot.
Yeah.
It's like there should have been some explanation, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But whatever.
Trank
Well,
darts.
it's kind of Green Lantern-esque, right? Like
Yeah.
whatever he thinks comes out of the, he can project the image.
Talk about Green Lantern. Buzzballs.
Buzzballs. Okay, so let's talk about more positives, because for me, I love that Merlyn and Nyssa were back in this episode. We haven't seen them all season yet. You guys know very well that I love Merlyn. He's probably my favorite character in the show. So the fact that he is back in this episode, fighting Nyssa, you know, kind of sparring with her. What did you guys think about that? Was that a positive for you, Jason?
Yeah.
Or
Josh. I saw Josh nod his head. I could tell.
You know, I wanted to say something.
Like, yes.
Well, I know Nyssa's. You guys both love. Yeah,
I
Medina
love me some
loves
Nyssa.
Nyssa, but I thought this was our best Nanda Parbat trip
Agreed.
ever.
Agreed. Yeah.
Because every time he went to Nanda Parbat, they're like, these are the League of Assassins, the best assassins ever, and yet Green Arrow can kill all of them walking down the hallway.
Yeah.
This one was actually pretty sweet that they went in there. It was just a Lazarus Pit. We kind of got like a good feeling of what's going on in Nanda Parbat right now, and that I felt like we really got like, Laurel, you're stupid. Don't do this. And I know there's a small minority of people that love talking about how they love Laurel, but everybody's like, Laurel, don't bring her back.
Yeah.
What are you doing? Even Thea was thinking it, and Nyssa, and now Malcolm. Everybody's like,
Yeah, but John Barrowman's, I think, one of the Merlyn, one of the strongest characters on this show. Nyssa's great. I love that tension between the two of them, like when they're sparring, and she's like, "No, I'm trying to kill you." Yeah, and he totally gets it, and he's fine with that.
And they also gave John Barrowman the best Ra's al Ghul costumes ever.
Yes.
Like, it actually looked like the comic books. Whereas, like, last season, I always felt, and you made the point that, like, Ra's al Ghul was taking his shirt off, like, every other scene, and just being like, "Fight me, Oliver."
I am Vladimir Putin with my shirt off on a horse.
And John Barrowman, Merlyn continues to be the dad of the year, you know, because the fact that he is allowing Laurel to resurrect her sister because he wants to prove to Thea that he is willing to do anything to be that dad for her.
Yeah, in a weird way, he
Says a
kind
lot.
of is a good dad, I guess. Maybe.
You know, yeah, I think you're right. He kind of is the best dad on Arrow. He really is.
Better than Lance.
Better than Lance, better than
Better
Queen.
than the Queen,
Yeah,
Robert Queen.
Robert
Yeah.
Queen.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, though. It's like, if you go back to those MTV Sweet 16s, they're like, honey, what do you want? I want a Mercedes-Benz, Dad. If I don't get it, I'm going to freak out. And Thea's like, I don't know. And then he gives her bodies to kill. Like, he literally gives her people to kill.
What do you want for your birthday, honey? Murder.
That's a good segue, right? Because Thea, to me, is like, she should be in Vampire Diaries now, because we get this whole spiel from Merlyn that, you know, once you're in the Lazarus Pit and you're resurrected, you're not going to be the same. And so he tells Thea, like, and that's kind of a rude awakening for her, that you are not the same Thea that went into the pit that's coming out of the pit.
And we get the explanation that it's because you're questing for the person that murdered you or wronged you.
Yeah.
And since Ra's al Ghul was the person that wronged Thea, she can never be like copacetic.
Yeah.
Right.
And so she has to continue to do
And then
kill
didn't they
or
say
whatever.
something in there that it's all of the people that have been in the Lazarus Pit before you, too? So
Yeah.
there's
Scary.
like a...
And have bathed in the pit.
Yeah.
But now the thing is Merlyn, does that mean he's screwed? Does that mean Sarah's going to come back from Merlyn and try to kill him just so she can be right in the
No,
head?
but if you notice, Sarah, when she came out of the pit, she lunged at Thea.
Thea.
Thea
that's
was the one who
true.
actually
That's
murdered
true,
her.
yeah.
So that again, that's one thing. There's one thing their Arrow writers do really, really well. They're really good at setting up future conflicts. That's something that comic books do very well. There's always the subplot, and giving us the taste of that is like, oh, okay. So when Sarah like becomes her white canary that we've seen in Legends of Tomorrow, she might still be like, I don't like this Thea girl.
Right.
You know?
And two, I love that you said that they do set up future conflicts, because there's one thing that comic book writers and the Arrow writers and sometimes Flash writers do too, is they are too good at freaking convenience, because the
Yes.
fact that Double Down just strolled right into the Arrow.
Oh
Yeah, how did he do
Like-
that? It's like Star Labs on Flash.
Exactly.
They took like the secret elevator that took him like an extra floor down, and he just takes the stairs.
Yeah, he just like,
Just the stairs. That's actually in my negatives, but
That's
I
my
mean,
negatives too.
definitely
Okay,
my
do we have?
negatives.
I'm sure we have more positives,
I have,
because
I
Jason, go.
have one huge positive that I'm actually surprised nobody on this panel brought up.
Oh, great. Here we go. Hal
tonight-
Jordan.
No, it's not Hal Jordan. We got tonight the best Felicity scene we've seen for a year.
Yes. I applaud that.
Felicity telling Diggle and Arrow to
that was a
sit
great
down
scene.
and
Yes.
shut up
Buck up.
and be adults was brilliant, and a Felicity that we haven't seen since season 2. Like,
Thank
and
you.
I
Wow.
mean,
Yeah.
I agree.
do you feel like your girls come back?
Yes, I totally do. I feel like for a whole season, all of season 3, I was like, what the hell happened to Felicity? She kind of switched places with Laurel, where Laurel was a very strong character in season 3. Felicity was whiny and kind of just, she didn't know what was going on. But this episode in particular, the Trinity was back. Felicity was laying it down on Diggle and Ollie to just be like,
Laying it
make
down
up.
on Diggle, huh?
Like in that Lazarus Pit.
Wait a minute, here.
can't help
You guys
but
are taking
wonder-
my
Dipping.
stuff.
Dip.
I can't help but wonder if it's like maybe the writers, they've heard a lot of the complaints from season 3,
Hopefully.
Sure.
and maybe they're just focusing in on what, because I feel like this season is a little tighter. The story's a little more focused, and maybe that's why we're seeing a better Felicity too.
Yeah, and her interaction, I love her interaction with sorry, what's
Mr.
his name?
Terrific.
Mr.
Mr.
Terrific.
Terrific.
What's
T
his name?
Spears.
Terrific.
Sir.
T Spears.
We
Yes,
did see the
and
T-Spheres.
let's
We
get to
saw
that.
the T-Spheres. Oh my God. How
Man,
awesome is that?
you know, listen, Jason, I like you as a person. I
Whoa,
think you're
easy.
great.
Where's this going?
And I was like, if one more of his freaking predictions comes right now, I'm freaking
I got
and then
two.
the
I
T-Spheres
got
come
two.
out, and I'm like, he's a genius. I'm never going to doubt him again.
Everybody in the YouTube comments was like, Sarah won't get resurrected the next episode.
Yeah.
It won't happen.
But you might be right on another one too. We'll get to that.
Well,
in a
I
bit.
have another crazy theory.
Yeah.
I would love to
Yeah.
introduce a crazy theory every episode.
Yeah.
So.
I'm
yeah.
in. I'm on.
Yeah,
Was a T on the sphere necessary though? Is that how they
Well, that's
look
what
in the
they look
comics?
like.
That's
Oh,
exactly
they
what
do.
Yeah.
they look like.
They
in
really
the comics,
do.
they're black with a red T.
Okay.
So because he
Okay.
wears a black jacket with a T that says "Fair Play." Why fair play? It's a '40s comics thing. Just go with it.
No bullying.
We do discover that the lair is in Palmer Tech
Which
on
we
the
didn't
bottom
know.
floor.
We
Yeah.
didn't know.
We
It was
did
in
not
the
know
bottom
that.
floor.
That's
Yeah,
positive for
They
me
switched
too.
it from what was the old club's name?
Verdant.
Verdant.
Yeah, Verdant.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Thank
Which always had the
God.
door at the back of the club that everybody's like, "Why is this door locked?"
We're not going to look into that.
Yeah.
That's whatever. But Oliver
staff
did say
only.
that I guess he might have another layer. It's a surprise. So we
I would,
know.
Where do you guys think? Where? Okay,
Well-
let's make predictions right now. Where are they going? Where else? Where would you put it? Where would you put the new lair?
It'd have to be someplace away from
In
home.
his old house.
Yeah, that's what I think. Go back
Yes.
to the
Like
mansion.
Avengers
Mansion.
Mansion.
Yes,
Go back to
I
in
heard
the
you say
Queen
Queen
Mansion.
Mansion, and now I can't think of
Yeah.
anything else. The only other place I could maybe think of is Merlin's, like the Merlin house or under
Oh,
the
like his
Merlin, the Merlin Industries building.
Would it be intriguing to if they went back to Verdant? Would you like that or hate that? Like
I
go
would
back to
hate
the
it.
old lair.
I would
Man,
like
Nobody
it.
would expect it.
Is Verdant still like cool, or is it like LAX where it went out of style but it's
I
still
have a
open?
feeling it's an abandoned building.
yeah.
They take another section of it. Yeah, no, I think I truly believe it's in Queen Manor.
The only
it's
thing
there.
I think that is, I mean, I guess convenience-wise, it doesn't really matter. But the only problem with Queen Manor is that it's so far outside of town. If they need to be like in city center, Queen Manor may not make as much sense. But
Well, I mean, he
does
did
that
that
really
for 2
matter?
seasons, well, I guess, yeah. Well, and it never. It's like Nanda
The
Parbat.
Verdant was in Glades, right?
True,
Yeah.
but they never
Yeah.
seem to have any problem coming from the manor
Oh,
to back and
no.
forth, and you know.
Yeah.
Everything's very speedy
Yeah.
in this
Well, they,
sphere.
you know, as we learned in this episode, there is a Star City Expressway.
True.
It only has 2 lanes. I don't know how that's an expressway.
not the 405.
But it's an expressway.
Yep.
And I don't know about you guys, but I have the flashbacks in my positives. I mean, they continue to be entertaining to me. I think obviously better than season 3. I think that it progresses the story. It's showing Oliver's evolution a little slower than what we would be used to in season 1, but still, I still like the flashbacks.
I think we all said the same thing when we were watching the flashbacks. One, we're very confused on why, if they're in China, not all of the immigrants, like the poppy field workers, are Chinese.
True.
And 2, why is there some country bumpkin going like, "Oh, Queen,
Yeah.
you ain't gonna come around here no more."
No, I looked up that actor because his name is Ryan Robbins, and he's in all like the Vancouver shows. He's on Battlestar, he's on Continuum, he's on all of these. And so I'm actually surprised that this is his like first appearance on Arrow. But I couldn't believe it because he's actually a good actor in other shows, and so I couldn't believe it when he was just like, "Come on over here, Queen. We're gonna make a moonshine." You know, just like, what are you doing?
But I think it's like what you guys were saying when we were watching the episode. It's kind of like when you look at like a lowly soldier. He's a little stupid in the head. Oh, I'm a soldier and I'm gonna do my, you know what? So
Yeah.
it's whatever. It's a little cliche, but
they're just building us up to hate him because we know there's going to be probably an epic
Oh, we're going to
death
hate him.
of that
Yeah, it
guy.
will happen.
Yeah, sure.
So let's go into our negatives though for the episode because I do have a few, and I'm going to start with Double Down. He is in my negatives. I don't know. I like the fact that you could pull the cards off his tattoos and stuff. But again, I'm not a fan of throwaway villains. If you've seen me talk about previous seasons, I just hate when they use an episode to have a throwaway villain. I mean, Jason, what do you think about Double Down?
I mean, I kind of agree with you. He seems more like a Flash villain. I mean, he is a Flash villain in the comics. So I actually like the nod where they said that he was in Central City getting the tattoos. But also, there's another DC villain, and I cannot remember. So comments, please forgive me. I can't remember whether the Tattooed Man is a member of the Suicide Squad movie or not, but like he's very similar to the Tattooed Man, and the Tattooed Man is a very more powerful villain where he can create a tattoo on his body and then it becomes real. And I kind of was like, well, why didn't you?
He was like Green Lantern with tattoos.
Exactly. It was like, why didn't you use the Tattooed Man? Like instead of like, I mean, for no word, DC's Gambit.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know. Maybe it's just like a budget thing too, because I mean, that's a lot of CGI. You know, you'd have to do. I don't know. I didn't mind him. I mean, yes, he was throwaway, but I think what was going on around all that, I think at least for me, was interesting enough to where I was like, all right, I can deal with this throwaway character because I liked everything else that I was seeing.
All right.
That actor was in the show Brotherhood on Showtime, I believe. He was one of the Irish gangsters in Showtime, in Brotherhood on Showtime. I like that actor. I didn't necessarily like the character, and I agree with you guys. I am not a huge fan of the procedural throwaway villain. I love the reoccurring villain. I love the villain that comes back. And so I thought that it would have been great if he would have kind of maybe stuck around, or he got away somehow and he joined into the Hive kind of crew, and it was more of like an Army of Darkness kind of thing. But
it's also interesting that we had a throwaway villain, and then we also sort of name-checked a previous throwaway villain, Count Vertigo, because they mentioned of Markovia,
That's right.
which is his home country. So, you know, 2 throwaway villain wink-winks.
A lot of what I like is in this episode there were a lot of pitches to the future. It was a very interludal.
It was a lot of setup.
Yeah.
It was a lot of setup in this episode.
Which I know was kind of like a gripe of yours. But I mean, I don't mind it that much because I know, again, I don't want to steal your theory, but I know what your theory is, and that's definitely a build-up, you know, so I didn't mind it too much.
You know, and it's not saying to say that I absolutely like hated it. Like I felt like episode 1 and 2 were like, we got steak, and this one it's like all we got left is the hamburger, and I'm like, well, I like hamburger, but steak was better.
Yeah.
I don't mind expositionary stuff. I like origin stories. I like that kind of stuff when you find out a little more and there's more storytelling than there is just like missing of gunshots, you know, and like people being able to get into Star Labs or get into the Arrow layer real easily. I don't mind that, but
Michael, any other negatives though?
Just I guess like your negative, Jason, about like the whole like again, it's kind of Diggle. I love Diggle. I love this character. I really do. But again, like he's
the butthurtness.
a little whiny. Yeah, because I mean I know when we were watching, you even said the same thing. I mean, given everything that they've seen, why did he choose this one thing to be like, oh, I don't trust you?
Yeah, kidnapping his wife and tying his wife to a chair was like that's the line that Diggle was like that's too far.
That's kind of a thick line to draw though. Like I don't blame him.
But he took a bullet, aka a
card.
Yeah, a card to the chest for him. So it's like, wow, you take a bullet for me? He's like, I told you I was going to take a bullet for you, bro.
The bromance is back
it's
on.
Back.
You know.
Yes.
Josh, any other negatives?
No, I think, you know, overall, I thought it was a very well-moving episode. I think all the characters had their great moments, but of the negatives that we talked about, I think those were mine. Yeah.
Jason, anything else?
One tiny negative, although I thought last episode they improved Mr. Diggle's back here's helmet by putting the black shield, by making it almost a motorcycle helmet.
Yeah.
In this episode, we saw that it has electric windows.
Yeah.
Not so good.
They're experimenting. It's a trial and error.
No. Here's the thing like that. I'm certain, and a lot of people in the comments have mentioned it, they're very much doing a Manhattan Guardian vibe. I love the Manhattan Guardian from the comics, especially the Grant Morrison version of it, which if you haven't read, go check it out. It's great. 7 Soldiers of Victory, the Manhattan Guardian. If they go that route with Diggle, he's going to be so cool by the end of the season. And the Manhattan Guardian's look changed. Diggle's look can change. It's all good.
Do you know what I think why I would like the Diggle helmet more? Is if in episode 1, they were like, he's like, I want to wear I've got an idea for a thing, and Felicity's like, let me develop it. And they like maybe had a little bit of a training montage with the helmet.
Well, you know what actually surprised me? Why I'm actually very surprised that he didn't try to go for like some sort of version of a black hood.
Yeah.
To kind of fit in with the team.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know. Interesting.
Yeah.
I am secretly hoping that that episode hasn't come yet, where they're going to go back and explain why his helmet is
Yeah.
the
Oh,
way
you
it is
think?
and everything.
Oh, that would be cool.
Helmet
Yeah.
origin
It'd be
story. I'm
nice.
into it. I like it.
We are all wondering, you can't just appear with something
Yeah.
without
Yeah,
an
that's true.
explanation for us
Good point.
fans, at least.
You're probably right because there is a 6-month gap there, so I'm sure that there will be some sort of episode that'll go back.
Yeah.
And if they name drop Cisco, yeah.
Oh,
They do quite
I like
frequently.
that.
Yeah.
Cisco.
Good call. Cisco's like it's his attempt. Oh, nice.
Cisco can
Well
do
done.
anything.
Okay.
So let's move on then to our Twitter questions, because I know we have been receiving a lot of them from you guys today. So
been
thank you
great.
very much.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the first one comes from Spades, who asks, so is that why 6 months later, whoever died can't come back? Because Nyssa destroyed the pit. Keep up the great work, guys. Michael, let's start with you.
Yeah, I mean, I guess everyone's screwed now, right? I mean, there's no coming back now. Well, and I know in the comics, there are a bunch of Lazarus pits like all over. There's not just one Lazarus pit, but they haven't really gone into detail about
They're
that
also
on the
finite.
show.
You can only use them so many times.
Exactly, exactly. So once they're done, they're
point.
done. So maybe that's what they're gonna, reveal on the show, that there are others as well.
There's got to be.
There has to
on.
be, right?
Come on.
There has to be.
And
Well,
go ahead.
I'm thinking, obviously, Oliver gets crushed at the end of season 2 when he's stabbed to death and he falls on the hill. There has to be some sort of Lazarus pit that she used to bring him back, or something like that. There could be another Lazarus pit around Nanda Parbat, or what was the area where they fought on the top of the snow mountain?
Nanda Parbat.
Yeah, Nanda Parbat.
Jason.
The cold
Jason,
part?
I just came up with another crazy theory. You want to? Okay,
Yeah,
we
let's
just
hear
had a Lazarus pit that was just destroyed. In episode 5, which apparently from last week I should have known and had memorized, Constantine is going to be in episode 5. He's a magic user. He could cure a Lazarus pit.
Okay.
And look,
you go.
Merlyn did not look too worried that Nyssa had thrown all that bubble bath into the Lazarus pit, into the Lazzy pit. Like, it was nice and foamy, but he
One
didn't
of the
look too
hotter
worried.
versions of-
Yeah, I think he is smart enough, and so is Roz before him, that they would have thought to place other Lazzy pits everywhere else,
pits.
right?
Lazzy
Or
pits.
just have some around his neck somewhere.
Lazzy
So
pits.
I wouldn't be surprised if there's other ones existing. So yeah, next question. Comes from Dallas, who asked, do any of you guys secretly hope it is Laurel Lance in that grave from last episode?
I don't know if we secretly hope
Josh,
it.
I think this is a question for you.
Well, I keep getting crushed about this
Laurel
Laurel
hater.
thing, and I'm not the biggest Laurel hater on the show. I guarantee you, we all have this. Really? Fine. I don't secretly hope it's Laurel. I think that it's a definite possibility, and if it was, I wouldn't be super disappointed. I think it would be too much of a layup if it was Laurel.
Yeah. A little too obvious, right?
Yeah, definitely.
I mean, initially I thought, this is before I'd watched this episode, that what if Diggle went bad? And what if it was Liza? Is that her name? His wife?
Liza,
yes. What if she was the one that was in the grave? What if Oliver wanted to save her and then felt responsible when Diggle somehow killed her, maybe, albeit accidentally, I don't know. And maybe he's like, well, I'm the one that, put him on this path.
can you imagine
to
how
begin.
butthurt he'll be when that happens?
Oh, God. That dude.
Jason, any thoughts?
I think that
I hope it's Laurel.
Wow.
I just saw him storming over, and I was like, "What did
Did
I
we do
say?"
something wrong?
Way to get all the fans on us now. So go ahead, Jason.
I sadly don't think it will be. I think
No, I don't either.
I think the writers, for ill or for good or bad, they follow the comic books.
Yep.
And Laurel's Black Canary, she'll live to the end of the series.
I agree.
If Laurel is in the grave and then somebody recommends you get a Lazarus pit, John Campea will be out there crushing every Lazarus pit with bubble bath forever.
It has become my quest.
What do you guys think? Because I still do think it's Felicity. I am sad to think that it's Felicity.
I would hate to lose Felicity.
And they also really made it obvious that they want you to think it's Felicity, so it's probably not Felicity. But do you think it's one of the Trinity? Do you think it's Diggle or Felicity? It's obviously not
Yeah.
Ollie. Josh?
Well, I mean, we all kind of predicted it was sort of Felicity, right?
Yeah, do you still think that
I
still?
think
You
it's
didn't,
it'd
but-
be too obvious too. Again,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah,
the
it's
love
too
of his
obvious.
life. Yeah.
It's too obvious.
So
for
it's
me.
not Felicity now.
I'm still sticking with Lance.
Yeah.
I'm still putting money that's Lance.
All right. Next question comes from Solo, who asks, can Thea follow the dark side and go from Speedy to Cheshire, bringing back Roy as Red Arrow? Jason? Because I don't know who Cheshire is.
That's a comic book question.
Yeah.
Deep cut is what that is.
Whoa.
Cheshire is actually Roy Harper's wife in the comic books. She's actually a villain, and there's like the sort
She
of
a
setup.
cat?
She's like a cat-like villain, but she's not that great. Just go with her. Right? She's not that cool, which is probably the reason why we'll never see her on the show. But in the comic books, Roy Harper married this villain and kind of always chastised Ollie and stuff like that when he was in his Arsenal phase. And they actually had a kid in the comic books. But then also Roy Harper got his arm chopped off, and no, I don't think she'll become Cheshire. I think Speedy is Speedy to stay.
Yeah.
If Roy Harper comes back, he'll be Arsenal.
Yeah.
I think you can have a Speedy, you can have an Arsenal. It'll be cool because later in the comic books, Arsenal got a costume that didn't look like Green Arrow, so they can totally do that.
I would love for Roy to come back. But go
me
ahead,
too.
Michael.
I
go
would
ahead.
love to, but honestly, I think he's done. Unless they recast Roy, but I don't see that happening.
I hope he doesn't just like pop up on like a CBS drama like Under the Dome, and you're like, oh, we lost Roy forever.
I'm pretty sure he's doing movies and stuff like that. That's why.
Okay.
It's
Yeah.
whatever. But they're gonna totally bring him back. Like even if it's only for the series finale,
Yeah.
you'll see him on Arrow again.
Yeah.
I hope
Nice.
so.
Yeah,
I
me
hope
too.
so.
Yeah, I also think Thea will she'll remain Speedy. I
Yeah,
don't.
she'll be Speedy.
Why is there evolution after that? Like, I'm okay with that.
But I do think my second choice for who's in that grave is Thea.
Yeah.
Because Thea is not in the comic books.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Oliver has no siblings in the comic books. He has no mom. Moira doesn't even exist in the comic books.
She's got that piece of Lazarus Pit.
Yeah, there you go.
Here's something I just thought of. We know that obviously Oliver is a dad. He doesn't
Yes.
know he's a dad,
Yep.
but we know he's a dad. What if that's either his baby mama or maybe his child that he discovers this season and that's in the grave?
Ooh.
I don't know.
Interesting.
Why would the Flash show up then? Or is the Flash just showing up as a smokescreen?
I mean, that is
parlays
his
well
boy. You know, they
into-
do work together.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
I don't
let's
know.
go even further into this then, because that's 6 months from now, right?
Yeah.
Do you think we are going to see who is in the grave by mid-season, or are they going to drag this out until the end of season 4?
The end.
Yeah,
I
they
think
have
so.
to.
I
You
They'll
really
drag it
think
to the
so?
end.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and
I think the mid-season finale may give us another scene at the grave, and maybe another person shows up, so that we're like, okay, it's not that person. Like if Diggle walked up there and was like, hey guys, then we're like, okay, it's not Diggle.
Right.
I think that's all we'll get. No, we won't learn to the
Yeah,
finale.
I think this is too good and too juicy that they're going to milk it for all it's worth.
Yeah.
And I think they're gonna do a lot of stuff, especially in the second half of the season, where like at the end of an episode, we'll see a character like drop, and we'll be like, they're dead.
Yeah.
And then like we won't see him for a whole episode, and then they'll come back and we'll be like, they're not dead.
yeah, very good. That's
Yeah.
a classic comic right in there. Yeah.
I love it. Do we have any more Twitter questions? All right, so before we get into our predictions for next week's episode, I think
But we also have to. Did anybody come up with their
I do.
Oh yes,
their
I
names
have
for
it.
Felicity's
superhero code name.
Superhero code
Yes.
name. Go ahead, Jason.
This was from a YouTube commenter from last week. I did not write her name. I'm sorry. They chose admin, which I thought was so funny and would be so funny to hear Oliver being like, "Go admin."
Makes sense to me. Michael?
I think it's.
I didn't think of any. I did see someone put up, I'm sorry, I don't remember her name, Smokescreen.
Ooh,
That was
that's a
kinda
good
I
cool.
one.
like
Yeah.
that.
Smokescreen.
I have smoking sausage.
Smoking sausage.
There was one guy that went straight across and just kept like rattling off funny ones after funny ones, like very misogynistic ones, and one of them was lusty pants, and I was like,
Lusty
I'm
pants.
in. I like lusty,
Lusty
pants.
Lusty
How
Lusty pants.
about buzz balls?
Buzz balls.
That's a pretty good one
With
too.
with the Z. If you're drinking 20% alcohol and it's green, you mean you're watching the Collider Arrow recap show. Brought to you by BuzzBalls. Okay, so a couple weeks ago we tried a drinking game and apparently it frustrated some viewers, so we're going to try something new. I thought of one trivia question from the episode.
Okay.
Whoever gets it gets the Crown Royal Mini. That we
Jason's gonna get it. It's
and
over.
you are the king for the night or the queen for the night.
All right.
It's royal after all, and the show is shot in Canada and it's a Canadian whiskey.
All right.
So, Mr. Terrific wears 2 color shirts.
Oh come on.
In-
Blue. He wears a blue shirt and he wears 2 different colored
Two different
polos
colored
and a
polos.
button down that has little polka dots all over it. One looks like a pinkish
No,
kind of.
Okay, he wears 2 polos. He's
Yes.
only wearing 2 different shirts in the
But he has a
episode.
button down as well for one scene.
So is the question what
But he
color?
wears 2 different.
What color is the polo?
What colors are the 2 polo shirts?
Blue and one looks pinkish.
What? Oh,
Well done.
Come on.
It was an indigo blue and a pink.
I wouldn't have got it.
Well
When you're,
done.
when you're
No.
looking for the colors of what your superheroes wear, ask this guy.
Gotcha.
Well
You
done,
need comic
Medina.
book stuff,
Well done.
Jason. I could tell you that. Okay, so you would have won that no matter what. All right, so let's get into our predictions for episode 4 next week. Josh, let's start with you. What do you think is going to happen?
Well, as per usual, I feel like the trailer it gives you what you think. Whatever. I think that a lot of it is going to be focused on Sara and her being back in Star City, and what her effects of the Lazarus Pit are. I think that they're going to finally let her out of the chains. Like, she's going to come around, and it's going to be her like kind of figuring out where she is and faking it. Like, she's learned how to be the Ra's al Ghul from the Lazarus Pit, kind of faking it kind of thing, because the last person to go in the Lazarus Pit was Thea. So she's got a little bit of what happened to Thea in her, and it's going to like transfer to, wanting to be in that canary kind of way. But yeah, I think it's going to be a very, very Sara heavy show.
Yeah, I agree. I think they obviously alluded to every scene that we saw in the trailer was Sara. So we're going to have to spend the whole episode understanding what the effects are of the Lazzy Pit on somebody, especially like Sara, who has been dead for quite some time. I want to know, and maybe you guys will shed some light in your predictions as to this Phase 3 Genesis. I don't know. I want more evolution into that, because they made mention of what Damien Darhk's next phase is. I'm curious. Hopefully it will start to kind of come to fruition in next week's episode, but it might take some time. I'm not sure. Michael, what about you?
I think we're just back with Sara. I think she's going to be struggling with what she's dealing with. I thought initially maybe like we'd see some of Thea struggling, but I know Malcolm made it a point to mention you're going to be okay for a few weeks. So I have to assume she's going to be okay this episode, or somewhat okay with it. So I think we're going to see a lot of Sara, because we do see a glimpse of Lance, and they actually let him know that she's alive. They're not going to keep it from him. So I think he's going to be struggling with that a little bit, but he's going to see what he can do to help his daughter out.
Jason?
I have a crazy prediction I want to throw out that I told you guys during the episode, and then I have a specific prediction for next week's episode. My crazy theory, because last week I predicted that Sara was going to be resurrected, and then I also gave you how I think Ray's coming back. Mm-hmm. In this episode, Felicity's phone kept getting weird messages. Mm-hmm. My prediction, that is Ray in the room hacking them, and a bunch of people said also that they thought that we've already seen Ray shrink away from the explosion. We saw it in the preview trailer, the Red Legends trailer, so that didn't happen. Yeah. My prediction specifically for next week is that it's going to be Sara murdering people around Star City, and Lance trying to stop her, the whole Arrow team trying to stop her. At the very end of the episode, they will capture her, they will put her in a cage in wherever their Arrow cave is, because they like to do that, like put people in cages in their Arrow cave. They did to Nyssa. And next episode will be the first time that Officer Lance walks into the Arrow cave invited.
Ooh.
And then that will be the setup for when Constantine comes into town following Damien Darhk, and they're like, hey, can you cure our crazy friend?
I love it.
Man, you should just write for the show.
Can you please?
Tweet
Jason
me.
Inman, he's free to write for Arrow. That's gonna do it for you guys, for us, you guys. Thank you so much for joining us for this week's Arrow recap show for season 4, episode 3, Restoration. Let us know what you thought about this week's episode. Leave us a comment. Tweet us using the hashtag Collider Arrow, and make sure you send your predictions for next week's episode to us as well, and let us know how wrong Josh was this week. So,
so very
speaking
wrong.
of, where can people continue the conversation with you guys? Josh, where can people follow you?
At Josh Macuga on Twitter and Instagram, my YouTube channel, Between the Sheets TV, or just hashtag it anywhere on YouTube. Hey, shut up, idiot. And I'll just
Hey,
find it.
shut up, idiot.
You're just inviting trouble right
Yeah,
now.
exactly.
Michael, where can people follow you?
You can find me on Twitter at Mr. Michael Alexis. I will be enjoying this bad boy when I get home. And hey, do you like Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.? Because me and Mr. Macuga over here are doing the Collider Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. recap show.
And Jason?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube at Jawin, Jawiin. Just very easy spelling.
It is, and mine as well, at Ann Campea. It's my name. Follow me everywhere. And again, continue to keep the conversation going. We loved hearing from you guys, what we got wrong, what we got right, your predictions for next week's episode. I don't have a hood. Josh doesn't have a hood. Neither of us have a hood. All of us don't have a hood.
But we might have very special T-shirts for next week.
Yes, we might.
Yeah.
So join us for next week's episode. And until then, hood up.